How to feel your value and worth as an intuitive person. Hi, my name is Leah Chantel. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to talk about a really common problem that a lot of intuitives have, especially as they're learning how to use their intuition and work with their sixth sense. A lot of them really suffer from low self-esteem. And the reason why is because you're just changing your belief system to something. On the one hand, it's always been natural, it's always been there, but on the other hand, we're not encouraged to use it, and it can sometimes feel a little bit scary as we get used to trusting ourselves. We've been so conditioned by the world not to trust ourselves. We are taught from the time we're children that we need to get approval from teachers, or we need to get approval from our peers, and that other people tell us that we're okay. When we pass the grade and get that high mark on the exam, then we head to the next grade. Or if we don't do so well, we're held back a grade and we can't stay with our friends. We can't stay with our peer group. So from the time we're really small children, we get conditioned that marks matter, that teachers' approval matters, that our peer group is the place where we belong, or our family unit is the place that we belong if our peer group isn't so friendly. Or maybe we don't feel that we belong anywhere, and that's such a great suffering for so many people that grow up. They feel bullied and they don't feel that they fit in anywhere. But actually, if you have that kind of upbringing where you've been bullied and you didn't fit in, that's actually a blessing in disguise, because what you may have figured out at that time, if you're really smart and you really reflected deeply, was that you can't actually get your approval from anyone, anywhere. That's a mark of low self-esteem right there. And people who are more popular and who get approval more easily have a tougher time learning this lesson. If you're a very good student, or you're at the top in the school, or the most popular boy or popular girl, you're gonna have a harder time adjusting as an adult in general, because you're so hooked on other people's approval. And when you become an intuitive, you understand that you're learning to trust yourself and your own sense of approval. We live in a world where there are a lot of people following their egos, and the people who follow their egos kind of manifest this broken world that we're living in. I mean, I don't want to say it's completely broken, but you know what I mean? Like those negative things that you see out there, like the negative politics, the bad news stories, are manifesting because people follow their egos and they're looking for their approval. And that's probably the big problem that's affecting politics these days, without getting into any sides or any political parties or any of those arguments. But basically, people are following their egos, they're trying to win people's approval, and that's why a lot of things don't work in our society very well, because we all abandoned our ancient instinct to follow our intuition, and our intuition is like our true north that helps us do the right thing. Sometimes doing the right thing is so spontaneous and so, I'm trying to get the right word, but intuition, by definition, can be very surprising, and that's the same with doing the right thing at times. And basically, when we learn to follow that and trust ourselves and follow the highest versions of ourselves, not that we're in a lower experience as a human being. I mean, we don't want to articulate it like that, but just to be aware that there is another level of ourselves that we can follow. There is a future self, some people call it, who knows what to do and can see your situation now and guide you to the best possible future, is something that's very empowering. And we need to learn to follow that as intuitives. We need to learn to let go of other people's approval, of their agreement or disagreement with our lifestyles. And we need to feel it. We need to feel it in our body that what we're doing is the correct direction for us. And one hallmark sign that we're doing this is that when we enter into a group of people and we're trusting ourselves and we're following our intuition, we're friendly and we're open to people, but we don't need their approval. We look for the person that we have the same vibration and or that we vibe with, if that makes sense. And basically, those are the people we have affinity with, who we look for and we can connect to. And they're our soul family. If we don't have that affinity, we're not going to try to win their approval. That doesn't mean we can't be friends with five sensory people or people who think differently. I think there are reasons that we are gifted with different talents in life and that people have different belief systems. But having said that, we are not going to be bullied by them or told to abandon our belief system. They can be our friends, we can listen to them, but we're not going to be influenced or afraid of them, right? We're going to do things our way and live our lives the way that they're meant to be lived without worrying about people's approval. It's a false god, actually. And it's something that comes from a very ancient part of our human evolution. And at one point, when human beings were potentially a bit more pure in the past and a little bit more innocent, it might have been a good thing to seek approval in the tribe, right? Maybe back in those ancient days that helped us survive, and most people in the tribe were good people. Nowadays, I wouldn't say people aren't good people, but we certainly are very complicated people, and we justify things sometimes from our egos when we're five sensory that are really messed up, to put it politely. And so it's not wise to trust those authority figures like our teachers or our professors or our bosses. I mean, we can do what they ask and listen, but if they say something that's evaluating our intellect or our character, it's not wise to listen, unless they're saying something that feels really accurate in your soul. But most of the time when people say things that are negative, it's just not even true. It's more about them than it is about you. And we can't be living in fear of those people and not posting any content or not speaking our truth or writing books, because it's just a huge waste of our wisdom. And if more people opened up with their wisdom, we would have a far more organized world. Our society would be way more empowered. Our government officials wouldn't be able to get away with half the stuff that they do if we were all living consciously and an empowered life. There would probably be way less problems in the world, to put it frankly. So that's why I am putting this message out there and teaching people about intuition, because the more of us that come together and follow our intuition, our inner wisdom, I would even call it, sometimes intuitives say there's no right and wrong, and I understand where they're coming from. But in my opinion, I actually believe that our intuition is actually our righteous path. It is our true north, and it tells us to do the right thing too. Although when you get into arguments of right and wrong and moral and stuff, things can get a little messy. So some people don't like that terminology. But I believe that it all aligns. And when we live our best lives and we're righteous, that's actually the most important key quality of being human. That's more important than how wealthy we are or how successful we are. When we do pass, I believe that we do get a life review, and it's important that we live to our fullest and we do everything we can to succeed. We do everything to spread our positivity and our message while we're alive. We don't want to ignore that, but at the same time, we're also more than our accomplishments. It's more about our vibe that we put out there in the universe and our moral character. And that's the greatest thing that gets evaluated when we do pass away. And people care too much about their relationships. And then when you die, you realize nobody's around you. And also in your life review, people don't care if you were nice. Well, they do care about your character, that you were nice to people, but they don't care if you took care of people. Does that make sense? Like if you're caretaking and running with the Kleenex every time they cry, that's not necessarily a thing that you get rewarded for. You know what I mean? When you pass and you have your life review. But the thing you do get rewarded for is having a heart, having a sense of empathy, doing the right thing, and spreading positive messages in the world while you're alive. I hope that all makes sense, and I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Definitely comment below what you think about having high self-esteem and what that looks like for an intuitive person, and how do you deal with people who have different opinions from you and feel good about that. I'd be really curious to know. Don't forget to hit like and hit subscribe if you're interested in seeing more content from me. I'm also available if you're really struggling with your self-esteem, you're really scared to talk about your intuition, you feel like you're by yourself. I'm building a community, my self-love community on Facebook, so you're welcome to join that. I'll pop a link below, and I'm also going to share that I'm available for half an hour long coaching sessions if you need some help with your self-esteem in order to feel good about yourself and put yourself out there. I'd be very pleased to assist in that regard. I hope you all have a wonderful day and take care. Bye now.